If you look up the definition of copywriting, you'll see copywriting is the process of creating written content to persuade people to take an action such as buying a product or attending an event. It's a key component of marketing and advertising and is used across many industries including finance, healthcare, technology, and travel. You've probably heard of copywriting before, and you probably understand that it is the backbone of marketing. It is the reason that you're even watching this video right now and that these words that I'm saying are somewhat resonating with you and you're hooked enough to continue watching. So a lot of people talk about copywriting online as a great way for a beginner to make money, and you've heard me talk about copy as the foundation of what I do in my business. But nobody really talks about how to become a good writer. And you can follow all of these principles, and there's plenty of techniques and stuff that you can find in books and stuff online that are totally helpful and viable options if you want to get started. But how do you start to develop your own style? How do you start to develop your own voice? How do you know if your copy is trash or if it's decent? In this video, I want to give you kind of the steps that I took to become a decent copywriter without ever feeling like I was practicing. Like, it never felt like I deliberately set out and I was like, oh, I need to become a really good copywriter so that I can make money as a copywriter. That I never had that thought. It was just like, I started writing because I kind of enjoyed writing, and over time my writing got better. It became refined, and I started to see data that showed me that. I started to see money come into my bank account. I started to see the more money that we were making for our clients. And again, it never felt like I was at war. I never felt like I was sharpening my sword and like trying to get better. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I think if you're gonna pursue anything, if you can find a way to enjoy it, you're gonna go a lot further than somebody who hates it. You know, you can be someone who is like super disciplined and somebody who, you know, they can get up and do something they don't want to do every single day, and that's great. But you're not going to attack it with the same level of vigor and violence that you would if you actually enjoy it. And that's where it becomes art. Like, when I write an email for my business, it feels like I am creating art. And that is like the truest form of self-expression. So if you're somebody who enjoys writing and who wants to build a career as a copywriter, or like, you know, you just want to get better at writing, this is the journey that I've taken. 3 steps. First, read. Second, write. Third, test. We'll start with read. So first, you just have to expose yourself to good copy. That can be in books. Like, let me show you. I've got a bookshelf over here. I'll take you over here. I've got a few copywriting books here. One to Many is a webinar book that's pretty good. Copywriting Secrets, another good one. Cashvertising, a classic. And my favorite is, oh shit. My favorite is the Boron Letters, which you can see right here. So all 4 of those are good. The reason I like the Boron Letters the most is because he writes in a way that is more like show you, don't tell. Show, don't tell, right? Is that how the saying goes? So instead of giving you like, oh, this is how it has to be done, this is all of these frameworks and principles, he does that while he sprinkles in tips like that while it's majority like story driven. So the majority of the book is like it's this guy Gary Halbert. He was like an OG marketer, and he's writing to his son while he's in jail. This is like the whole book. It's the letters that he wrote to his son. And he's writing about his day and like things that he's learning and things he finds interesting. And then he'll tell a story about a direct mail campaign and why it worked. And he'll give copywriting tips and just general marketing tips throughout, but it's not as direct as like, oh, you know, follow this principle, attention, interest, desire, or follow whatever other principle. So I really like that one. Outside of that, so outside of those 4 books, next thing you need to do is start to train your algorithm to feed you good copy. And you need to start reading good copy. Subscribe to my email list, subscribe to somebody like Cardinal Mason's email list, subscribe to whoever else you see online that you know is a good marketer and you know that they're making money selling some type of info product, or you know, like even Nike probably has decent copy in their emails, and all these big brands, like you can just expose yourself to more copy, and then you become aware of it and you start to see it in your day-to-day life. It's like you activate your reticular activation system. I think that's how it works. But like then you'll just be walking on the sidewalk and you'll see a truck, and it's like a moving company, and you'll see, oh, 2 men in a truck. That's what they call their business. That's pretty clever copy. Like, it's pretty simple. I understand, okay, 2 men are gonna show up, pick up all my shit, and move me to a new place. That's good copy. So once you can start to read good copy and start to take note of it, like the other day I drove by a billboard that said, "Your wife is hot, call this AC company." Good copy. You'll start to just understand what good copy looks like, and some people will tell you to like go and rewrite old sales letters by hand. I think that's silly. I'm sure it works, but I never did that shit. I just started to like, okay, I have this understanding of what copywriting is, and now I'm seeing it in my day-to-day life. Huh, that's pretty cool. Next, second step, write. You need to start writing. I couldn't be more passionate about this because it improves every area of your life. It makes you more articulate. You become a more effective communicator who can speak their mind in a clear and concise manner. And instead of having all of these thoughts that are just jumbling around in your head, you know that if you get something down on paper, it basically completes that idea or completes that thought, or it starts to if it doesn't fully do it. And then when you're sitting there and you're talking to a friend and you just kind of start to hear gold coming out of your mouth and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? That's because you write a lot. That's because you journal. Like 4 years ago, I started journaling nearly every day. I started writing to my email list really frequently, and I had no incentive to do so. I never planned on selling any information to my email list. I had like 3 people on there, including my mom and my grandma, and then my other burner email. And I just started doing it because I enjoyed it, and I'd go and I'd sit in a coffee shop and just observe the people around me and like write about that. Or I'd write about something that I overcame recently, or I'd write about just something I found interesting, or a quick little story from like my morning coffee run. Anything that I could, I would just paint a vivid picture of it, try and draw some lesson, and it was fun. Like I genuinely enjoy sitting down to write to this day. This is something I've started again 4 years ago. I started on Twitter then as well, and building this habit of writing every day, again, it just, one, it helps you become a better writer, which can help make you money. 2, it helps you become a more effective communicator. 3, it helps organize your brain. 4, then you can go on a date and sound like a fucking genius, and the girl will be like, wow, Ben, how are you so articulate? How are you so smooth? How are you so amazing? And you're like, because I watch Ben Vader YouTube, and I started writing consistently. But you wouldn't tell her that. You just tell her, oh, baby, you know, that's just how I am. Yeah. Anyway, that was cringe. You just have to start writing as often as possible. And if you can find a way to enjoy it, again, like that is the key, because then you just start to get better without feeling like it's a pain in the ass, without feeling like it's a hassle. You know, again, go build a little ritual for yourself. Like in the morning, I love to wake up, go get some coffee. I sit out on my balcony out here, if you can see this. I sit in that chair and I'll just bring my laptop out there and start typing. And typically that turns into a few tweets and an email. And it's like a fun thing for me to do. It's one of my favorite parts of my day. And then if I feel it, once I do that too, it's like my brain, all of the fogginess that I had in there is now gone. I just had like the best therapy session of all time, where I took some crazy drug, basically. It feels like the equivalent of that, because again, it just clears everything out. And it allows you to get these thoughts down on paper instead of just like eating you alive. It's like, you know, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and there's something that you don't like that they're doing, and you keep it to yourself for a long time. Eventually, that starts to tear away at you. If you never express that, if you never get it out, you start to go fucking crazy, and then you start to resent other things that they're doing, and it just ruins the whole relationship. It ruins your mental health, and it's because you're refusing to ever express how you're feeling internally. This is what writing has done for me. And like, notice I haven't really given you any copywriting tips or frameworks or anything yet. You have to like writing if you're gonna be a copywriter. And it's pretty easy to fucking like writing, because I genuinely think it is an amazing habit that most of history's greatest minds have utilized. So expressing your thoughts and ideas on paper will just make your mind a lot less cluttered. And again, it's like getting everything off your chest that kind of starts to boil up in the back of your mind. The last step to becoming a good copywriter is number 3, which is test. So this is where you actually have to go and get data. This is where you have to find a way to see what an audience would respond to. So whether that's gonna be your own, you're trying to sell something of your own to people, or you have a client-based business or a service-based business and you're writing copy for a client and seeing what people respond to. That's where shit starts to feel like magic. And you're like, wow, this is fucking sick. I can just type words on a little Google Doc, send it through the ether to strangers on the internet, and they end up buying some random little product that I'm selling or some coaching program. Like that, it makes you feel like you are literally a magician and you can do anything. I've had my email list again for 4 years. I haven't really offered anything of my own up until recently. I opened up a mastermind last month. So up until then, I was writing consistent emails, not every day, but like nearly every day for 4 years without asking for any money, without having any type of angle. And then I dropped my mastermind last month, and we've gotten almost 30 people in there. And not only have I obviously made a lot of money from it, but it's just really cool to see the tangible real life impact that copywriting can have. And I see this with my clients as well. It's like if we pitch something a certain way, or if we angle their product a certain way for a certain type of person, it's gonna resonate and it's gonna hit harder than it would if we do it a different way. And the only way that you can draw that conclusion is by testing a lot of different angles. So you have to find a way to start to get tangible data. Again, that could be for your own business or that could be for a client's business. Typically, it's really easy to go and get some type of client that needs copy, write their emails for them, test different subject lines, test different concepts, test a different VSL or different copy on the funnel, and then see what hits the hardest, see what drives the most attention. And then over time, you just become so good at this shit, and it becomes second nature to you. You can knock out an email that'll make you $30,000 in 5 minutes. And that is how you become a magician of the internet. That's pretty fucking cool. Wouldn't it be sick to just go do and then you see money come in? Yes, it is sick. Hope you like this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.